Welcome back to the garage. We're going to start framing out the roof, and I've bought this box section here. It's 10mm box, with a really nice radius on each corner, and we're going to frame the opening in the box, cut the top off of it and make a U channel out of it. But it's much easier to bend box section than it is to bend U channel, because it always sort of opens out when you're trying to bend it. But if it's a box, it'll stay a box. So we're going to bend that to match the radius of the roof in both directions. We're going to weld them all together, and then we're going to sit it on the roof, scribe around it, cut the scribe line out, and then weld this in, and then that'll hold everything in place. I've also got to work out how I'm going to get my laths in place as well, but we can do that at a later date, so not yet. So we'll get on with that then. I'll just mark it up, cut it to length, and then show you what it looks like as we go. That's the first bit of bending done. As you can see, we're just following the shape of the roof. It's too long at the moment. That's cool, because we're going to make radius in these corners and then join onto it over there, so we need to make them too long. But that's the first stage at the moment, is just to make this match the shape of the roof. So we're going to do that around the other four corners and come back to you as we get them done. Just fitting out the side pieces, and that's the fit we want it as close to the body as we can get. And I'm just literally picking the bar up, working out where it needs to be bent, putting it over the back tyre, bending it, and then trial fitting it again, and just keep going like that until it's just right. Don't put too much in. It's much easier to put some in than it is to get it back out again. So little bits at a time, and once we chop these all up, they fit perfect as drip rails. So there you go. That's another one done. Off to the other side. And this is going to become the radius bend here. So I've just chopped out, not the front edge if you want, but the back edge, all of it. And the more piece cuts you get, the smoother the bend, but also the more you've got to weld back together. So it's a balance between something that looks nice and something that just takes you forever to do. So that's the bend. I'm just going to make it come to the 90 degrees and match the tape line, and then I'll weld it onto the cross piece. So I thought I'd show you that before I start bending it, and I'll show you it when it's bent. All I've done is gone down each one of these cuts again, so it's another millimetre out, and then bent it, and you can see you get a nice radius. So I'll weld all these back up and flip it over and weld the whole lot back up, and then I've got my nice bend. So I'll do that again with all four corners and weld it together. So I'll show you that next. Right, I've got my radiuses all bent, all the same, and now I'm just laying out the roof where the cut's going to be, so that I can get my crosses exactly the same length, my length's the same, and the width's the same, so I know it's absolutely bob square. I don't want to cut anything not square with this. So this is 29 inches wide, which is wide enough to fit through the door, so the roof will actually go in and then slap and sit on the back partial shelf, in essence, back there. So I'll put the roof in, put it on the partial shelf, drive around for fun, and then when it rains, take it out, put it on the top. It's going to be 3 different roofs, as I said before. One will be waterproof, and that will be in there, and obviously the non-waterproof will be on. And then if it rains, I shall swap them over, and if it's nice, I'll put one on top of the other and have no roof whatsoever. So that's the plan. I've just got to mark these cuts out dead accurate and get those tack welded in. I'm not going to fully weld anything until it's all dead square, and then I can go around and mark the roof properly, cut it, let this in. It's going to be welded all the way up to the top there, and then I'll seam weld all the way along, a bit at a time to make sure it don't warp. And then I'm going to cut that top part out and leave my U-channel in place. That's the plan. I best get on with it. Right then, I've got all my radiuses in all the way around, and I've just lined the front up and tacked it in place, and then I've bent this rail straight in that direction because it was a little bit drunk in this direction. So as best I can, it's 8 inches from the front lip and 8 inches from the front lip, and I've checked it at various places and that is straight. I've then gone from here to the drip rails, I've gone from there to the line, I've gone from there to the line, and I've gone around making sure it's square to the roof. So it's pretty square to the roof, literally as best I can. It's exactly the same distance from here to that corner as from this to that corner, so it's exactly square in that direction and this direction and that direction. So that's where it's going to go, which means now I can do a really nice score line around the whole roof. Cut that section out. I'm keeping that section obviously, and that section's going to have a lip put around it for strength, and then that lip will sit inside this lip. So I'm nearly ready to cut that out. So I'm going to do a double check on everything, and then get cutting. Before I got started with cutting and stuff, I thought it might be an idea just to weld these edges all the way around, and then that fixes the shape in that quite nicely. It's stiffened up that frame, so they're all just add tack welds on the corners just to stiffen them up. I've also gone over these welds and made those a bit stiffer, so now that is a pretty solid frame on the roof. I can now get to scoring the roof and get it ready. What I thought I'd do is, as soon as this frame matches the roof, I tack the roof that I'm cutting out onto the frame first, and it will keep its shape nice. And then when I put the lip on the other side, I'll then cut the frame off, and it will all stay the same shape, hopefully. So that's the chop now. It's out. I shall get on with flipping it up and then show you manufacturing the lip that's going on the other side. I'm just at the point of holding the frame in place there, and just tacking a couple of tacks along just to get it so that it's, I mean, you can hear it's gone solid already just with those few tacks. So I just got to work my way around, tacking the corners, tacking everything back in, and then I can go around, flatten that off, and then I cut this top off here, and that leaves me with a gutter rail. So you can probably see how it's going to work. I've just got to work my way around, pushing it in place, and you'll see. Right, that's in. The slow and laborious task now of welding it all in, seam welding it. I just got to take my time and work my way around, and then, as I say, cut that bit out. But it's going in, bit at a time. All the grinding's been done. It's all flat all the way around. That means all the welding's done. I've also gone through making sure there's no little holes, so I've had to go back over it, weld it again and grind it off again. So all the way around, that's the lip in place now. I'm gonna cut the top edge off, show you that, sit the roof back in and call it a day. So 5 minutes, I'll be back. Still smoking away, but there you go. That's the roof gutter, if you want. So I've just cut the top out. and it gives you a really nice straight clean edge with plenty of strength to it. That's all I'm going to do for today. When I come back, I'll just carry on making that noise, but I'm not going to bother filming it. That's the roof basically done. There are slats to go in, which I'll do a woodworking video on at some point, and then we'll get back to it. But there you go. Thanks for watching, and that's how I cut the roof out of my car.